Hello, my name is Morgan Schaff, and me and my group chose to do the electric eel for our project. I have to say that I didn't know much about the electric eel other than the fact that it shocked predators as a self-defense mechanism and shocked its prey as the easier way of getting it. My part of this project is the conservation status and concerns. Good news! The conservation status is least of concern, which means electric eels are stable. The average number of offspring is 1,200 embryos hatched, and have been recorded to have as many as 17,000 eggs at once. Concerns. No real concerns at this time. The electric eel is at the top of the food chain. It's an apex predator in the northern part of South America, even though it lives in an environment that is heavily populated with other predators like humans, dogs, jaguars, giant otters, giant snakes, and birds that prey and eat on fish of similar size as the electric eel. They have plenty of food sources. They eat shrimp and crab when they are young, and as adults, they eat a variety of fishes, amphibians, birds, and even some small mammals. The habitat. Electric eels are located in the northern part of South America, in the Amazon. Electric eels are occasionally eaten by locals on the Amazon, but they are mostly avoided because of their shocking ability. The habitat does not need to be recovered. It just needs protecting. There is no law or programs in place to directly help the species, but there is to help the overall habitat. The habitat that the electric eels live in, the Amazon, is stable and continues to be for now. The ecosystem of the Amazon rainforest is known as the lungs of the planet, and it is one of our greatest natural resources. Sorry for this technical difficulty. I don't know what's happening. This is only like the 50th time I've tried to do it because it does this. Or the phone rings. So bear with me for a second. Okay. So, habitat problems. Things that can do damage to the rainforest are ranching and agriculture, because the rainforest can be cut down to make more room for livestock and crops. Fires are used to manage those crop fields. Often those fires spread to the remaining forest, destroying even more of the habitat. The solution would be to plant crops that don't take up as much room, use less of the land, and that don't kill and wear out the land so quickly. Commercial fishing. Commercial fishing is another main food source other than livestock and crops for the people living in the Amazon. The population is growing at a fast rate, which continues to lead which could lead to overfishing and loss of resources. It could also lead directly to the electric eel food source in decreasing it. The solution would be to implement fishing regulations to avoid overfishing. Poaching. Poaching is another possible risk to the habitat because it is not regulated and could deplete the food sources for the electric eel, not to mention harming the habitat as a whole. Poaching happens because people are trying to make a living by hunting animals and selling their meat as food and as for raw materials. One solution would be to develop an environmentally friendly way for the people living in the Amazon to make a living. Damming. Damming is another way that the habitat can be damaged. It can cause large tracts to be flooded, killing off wildlife and fish, ultimately impacting the electric eel's food population. The solution would be to thoroughly review a damming project and the impact it would have on the habitat and make a list of the pros and cons and weighing it out, including advice from environmental experts. Logging. Logging is also a way that the habitat of the rainforest is being destroyed and can affect the well-being of the electric eel. Because without trees to hold the soil in place, it can and will wash away into the rivers, smothering fish and electric eels, not only directly affecting the electric eel's life, but also its food source's life. The solution would be to increase funding for the government to protect and rebuild the rainforest, and also educating the local population on the impact the rainforest has on the world and its habitat and environment. Mining. Mining is another very detrimental tactic to the habitat of the Amazon. If miners wash off harmful chemicals and sediments into the river, it could possibly kill fish and electric eels. A solution would be to make mining corporations abide by stricter environmental protection laws and have someone make sure they follow them. I really enjoyed this project and the information I learned about the electric eel and South America and the Amazon.